And once you start with a strong foundation, you end with a very sustainable product. You end with a very strong and valuable and sustainable leadership skills in light of your usefulness to wherever you will be.
The Vice President, acting on motherly instincts, appealed to the youth to be good primary beneficiaries of government infrastructural services. Alupo assured the young leaders that the society needs young men and women who are trainable, resilient, and ready to serve their country with zeal.
The old note of 10,000 and the new note of 10,000. This one may have been in circulation longer than this one. But this one does not have control on why this one was in circulation longer than it. When you are conducting yourself in public, deal with values. Deal with values. I saw President Museveni going to Kenya, and the Kenyans gave him a standing ovation because of value. I saw President Museveni in Rwanda, and they gave him a standing ovation because of value. I saw him in South Sudan. They gave him a standing ovation because of value. His value. We cannot, as Ugandans, run away from that value.
The Deputy Commander of the Defense Forces, General Peter Elwelu, spoke to the youth about patriotism and love for one's country. He noted that they cannot be patriotic youth when they cannot respect their elders, adding that the formula for a good youth is to be able to transform communities. The Usuk Member of Parliament, Bosco Okirod, and Jacob Eyeru, the chairperson of the National Youth Council, also addressed the youth leaders, among others. Etole Ed Archangel, UBC News.
Now, the Kabaka of Uganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, has applauded the National Environment Management Authority for the efforts to defend environment. Now, Kabaka was addressing his subjects as Buganda marks 60 years of independence that was gained on the 8th of October 1962. However, this day Kabaka ordered to be celebrated as the Bulungi Bwansi and local government in the kingdom.
Ebbanga lyetumaze nga tukuza olunaku lwa bulungi bwansi wano mu Buganda waliwo ebintu ebituzzaamu amaanyi okugeza okulaba nga buli mwaka obujjumbize bw'abantu baffe ku lunaku luno bweyongera bweyongezi era ne kituwa essuubi naddala bwe tujjukira nti ebiseera eby'obwakabaka bwaffe eby'omu maaso biri mu mikono gyabwe. Kyetuva tweyongera okubakubiriza obutassa mukono ku nsonga ey'okukuuma obutonde bw'ensi n'endala zonna ezitunyigiriza ng'obwakabaka ne Uganda okutwalira awamu. Nga kye ŋŋamba nti mwongere okwogeza eddoboozi erimu ate nga lya mwanguka nga mulwanirira ensonga zaffe. Twagala okwebaza omulimu ogukolebwa abalondoola obutonde bw'ensi. Abannema bakoze nnyo era tusiimye nnyo. Twagala ensi ey'emirembe ekuumiddwa obulungi era etuweesa essanyu. Tubakulisa okukuza olunaku luno era tubaagaliza essanyu n'emirembe. Katonda abakuume.
Uganda and Mali have concluded their three-day bilateral discussions by signing a framework on military cooperation at Speak Resort Munyonyo, Kampala. Now, the technical teams of both countries drafted a legal military framework that has been signed today by the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs for Uganda and the Mali Defense Minister. The military framework will guide the entire process of fostering unity and cooperation in military between the two countries. The Minister of Defense for Uganda, Honorable Vincent Bamulangaki Sempija, in his remarks pledged that Uganda will remain fully committed to working with the Republic of Mali to confront the common threats to the sister country. On his part, Honorable Colonel Sadio Kamara, the Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs of Mali, observed that Mali as a country has started an effort of reforming its security sector with an objective of giving special attention to mobilizing civilian masses against terrorism. The Uganda-Mali Memorandum of Understanding is the first military cooperation framework to be signed between the two countries and is aimed at promoting and further strengthening ties of friendship and fraternity between the parties' armed forces.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, police has condemned the increasing levels of brutality and mob justice by citizens in dealing with those involved in criminality. Now, the warning message was made by Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesman Patrick Onyango in response to the injustice depicted in a video that went viral as Ugandans beat up and undressed women allegedly involved in highway robbery along the northern bypass.
In this video that went viral recently, are people seen beating up women and other youths whom they allege were attached to highway robberies along northern bypass, who had made it a habit to steal from Ugandans. The same video shows women undressed by a group of mobs, a thing that is uncouth and minimizes their image. The acts portrayed in the video are against the law. The chairman LOC1 Muyenga Bokasa Ward Yasino Mar condemns the manner in which the victims of torture were treated.
They call it mob justice, but to me it's mob injustice. What was applied to those women, it is injustice.
Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesman Patrick Onyango warns Ugandans against involving themselves in acts of mob justice.
I want to thank especially the Good Samaritans and all the people around Nambole tax flyover who managed to block these tags, who managed to arrest this tag, and who showed commitment of trying to fight criminality in that area.
With only hours left for Uganda to mark 60 years of self-rule, some Ugandans feel such acts are abominable.
At these 60 years, we celebrate independence to have such attitudes towards fellow Ugandans, especially even a woman, even an old woman, when you look at the video. We appeal to the police to track for the offenders and they should be prosecuted, so that we put an end to this kind of mob injustice.
Yasino Maru attributes the reluctance of local council chairpersons and security operatives to the little salary. Highways, roundabouts among other darker corners have turned into dens of lions with the rampant robberies. Many motorists along highways and Entebbe Express in particular have been pelted with stones and pavers by burglars with an intention of robbing them. There is need for security operatives to intensify day and night operations to curb criminal gangs. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
Thank you, Ivan Juko. Now, the afternoon of Tuesday, the 8th of October 1963, is a memorable day in Uganda's media history as the birth of television broadcasting in Uganda. Now, this was the day that the then Executive Prime Minister of Uganda, Dr. Milton Obote, switched on the first television in Uganda Broadcasting Service. Now, Obote was accompanied by the then Minister for Information, Broadcasting and Tourism, Akbar Adoko Nekyon, and other government officials of the newly independent Uganda.
Might be too ambitious, but he said that he was now confident that it was right. Uganda today has a vibrant media industry, which was not the case in the past when there was only one television station, Uganda Broadcasting Service. That was introduced in 1963 as a black and white analog television. Television broadcasting was initially scheduled to start at the same time with radio in 1954, but was reportedly deliberately delayed by the colonial government, creating a long-time anxiety that was later to be resolved by the newly independent Uganda.
The government has thought fit to have television to help implement some of the most important aspects of its policy. Therefore, introduced television as perhaps the most powerful weapon available to us.
The then Minister of Information, Broadcasting and Tourism, Akbar Adokonekion, pushed for the starting of Uganda Broadcasting Service Television, which was commissioned by the then Executive Prime Minister, Dr. Milton Obote, on the afternoon of Tuesday, 8th October, 1963, at the then White Man's Hospital, Nakasero Hill.
The television manager shows the way, and Dr. Obote, followed by the minister, moves forward to cut the tape, while newspaper and cameramen record the event. The tape is cut. The studios are open.
A Harvard University and Syracuse University graduate, Agri Awori, was the first Ugandan director of Uganda Broadcasting Services Television, taking over from the British managers in 1967.
We didn't have a lot of equipment. We didn't have transmitters to cover the whole country. And furthermore, the studio was actually inherited from the former European hospital. All the senior staff, the director, who was the CEO, was a British BP seconded person. All the senior producers were also from Britain.
By the time he left in 1971, television coverage had been expanded from Kampala to Masaka, Lira, Mbale and beyond.
When we entered the expansion program, we covered considerable areas of Uganda. But we are doing this as a technical challenge, but we didn't have many viewers outside these areas.
Television transmission would start at 6 p.m. and close at midnight.
We used to have only one camera, but now we imported about 3 more, so we were able to cover an event in the studio from different angles. And then eventually, we got from Germany a mobile broadcast unit, 3 vehicles, one for camera control, one for inputs, and the last one, of course, was standby generator.
Turning on the television was an honor only bestowed to the men of the house, characterized by fumbling with the antenna to get the best picture.
It was a big challenge. Most of the TV sets really were community. We put them in the community centers, schools, and a few individuals, mostly expatriates and Asian community.
Television sets were few, and having one always elevated a person to a high status within the community. Those without a television set could only be invited to watch, or in actual sense pay a visit during evening hours.
The production was very little. The most popular program, when we now got the outside broadcast unit, was at Nakivubo, that's football, and also at independence celebrations, political events.
Television sets were referred to as boxes, were few and mainly owned by civil servants, politicians, well-to-do families, government officials, and at community halls. Denial of a seat before the box was considered a punishment for any youngster of between the 1960s and early 1990s. The analog broadcasting services were provided by government only until 1992, when the broadcasting sector was liberalized. Ever since the liberalization policy was put in place, however, there has been tremendous growth in private radio and television broadcasting services in Uganda.
This is an opportunity Uganda Broadcasting Corporation has of not only modernizing itself, but of course making sure that the opportunity for expansion to the rest of the country does take place.
At the time, there was only one channel available, not like today when consumers enjoy an exciting range of riveting television content packaged into various genres, making it an integral part of people's daily lives. There have also been changes in the way the signal is being sent from analog to digital. This has given rise to the digital terrestrial television and direct-to-home broadcasting. Today, live and interactive TV is on the rise, with viewers participating in programs which have intensified the television experience.
The country should expect better TV services, better pictures, better quality sound. With the migration from analog to digital, there are a lot of benefits.
Television content producers and television station owners are constantly looking for the magic formula for keeping their ratings high. There are two types of broadcasting content service packages or channels: free-to-air and pay TV. For free-to-air, one can receive these TV channels on their TV sets without any subscription or paying a monthly fee.
Expect a good television services, and everybody will enjoy himself or herself with this digital migration.
On the other hand, pay TV, also referred to as pay-per-view, is commercial, and one has to subscribe by paying a monthly subscription fee to watch the associated TV channels. This is a highly competitive environment with an influx of new stations. On-air presenters continue to switch loyalties depending on the packages being offered.
It is our official channel through which we reach out the population of Uganda. And the UBC must remain a priority for the government of Uganda. And therefore we must adapt also as Ugandans, as the human population, to these new technologies.
The single channel has been swept into the annals of history by the entry of a host of service providers like DSTV, GoTV, and other operators.
60 years of independence with the many achievements. The achievement of UBC getting better and better is also one of those that we are proud of.
Sudat Kaye, Deo Habimana, UBC News.
Thank you, Sudat Kaye. Thank you, Deo Habimana, for that. 59 years of UB, that's Uganda Broadcasting Services, now Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, and still growing strong. UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we return with more stories.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed, and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions, plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Stay connected on the largest 4G network in Uganda using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi at only 75,000 Uganda shillings. It comes with 15 GBs free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 of your friends and family at a go. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today or call 0800 333 330 for free delivery within Kampala. Dial *175 *9# to activate free 15 GBs. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800-100-066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees.
Select to pay using Bridge Schools, School Pay or Peg Pay.
Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Fellow Ugandans, did you know that we are losing wetlands at an alarming rate? Wetlands are the most threatened ecosystems, disappearing 3 times faster than the forests. Dear ones, we risk losing species to extinction and a lot of wetlands at maintaining our environment. Let us all be concerned, conserve, and restore our wetlands. In the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Water and Environment, Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Uganda National Meteorological Authority, in partnership with the Interreligious Council, with support from Government of Uganda, Green Climate Fund, and the United Nations Development Programme.
Pick it, pack it, share it. The 4G WACnet MiFi. Pocket it, use it, enjoy it. Visit any MTN service center or Banana Phone World outlets. Get it at 75k. The MTN 4G Pocket MiFi is it.
Welcome back from that break, and now into more news. How well versed are you with the Uganda national anthem? Do you even know when, how, where, and who composed it? And are you even aware of when it is supposed to be played and in what order along with other anthems? Now, you may have some ideas, but here are some details of the history, conduct, and relevance of a song that depicts Uganda's pride and identity.
A mother of all anthems in Uganda, often played alongside others, depending on the occasion and the area code. It could be an occasion on HIV/AIDS. It may be on women and mothers. Or even cultural institutions. Whether from Buganda, the mother of all anthems in Uganda remains the national anthem. You will not miss seeing everyone humble themselves at national events in honor of the national anthem, including the head of state. It is proved to be Uganda's pride and identity, which the country has appreciated over the years, including those born on and after independence.
The song also makes you feel proud about the good things in Uganda. Like they talk about the fertile land, they talk about the sunshine, you know. They talk about things that actually identify with the country called Uganda.
It was in the run-up to independence that a subcommittee was formed to determine an anthem for the forthcoming state. A nationwide contest was held. The criteria stipulated for the anthem required that it was short, original, solemn, praising, and looking forward to the future. Having listened on Radio Uganda that night before about how none of the entries had been deemed suitable, George Kakoma wrote the anthem in one day.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hand.
His lyrics and tune were selected in July 1962, emerging best out of the 4 that had been shortlisted. Kakoma's song was officially adopted in 1962, the year Uganda gained independence.
It's a beautiful anthem which is composed like in the form of a prayer. Our motto being for God and my country. It rhymes well with the stanzas of the national anthem.
Initially designed to only have the first stanza played except in the presence of the president, the trend has since changed. This followed the moving and passing of a motion in Parliament to have all the 3 stanzas played.
Many people comfortably sing the first stanza. When it comes the second to the third, you see the lips moving, but the word is not coming out.
The recent adoption of the East African Community Anthem makes it vital for Ugandans to learn and know what to do with the national anthem.
Guidance is that if because of the limitation of time, you do one stanza, then it is proper that for the other anthems also do one stanza. Because if you do one stanza for the national anthem and you do all the stanzas of the East African anthem, there may be a misinterpretation. It means either you are valuing the East African over and above the national one, or if you do a full length of the cultural anthem, when you have done one stanza for the East African and one for the national anthem, there can be a misunderstanding that maybe you are valuing the cultural traditional one more than the national one or the East African one.
Such is a national and regional gospel that has always been on. Seen arriving at Mutukula, Uganda's official border with the United Republic of Tanzania, is Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga. This was in September 2021, and the current Minister for East African Community Affairs was here to harmonize issues regarding imbalance in rice business. As a standard, both the national and East African anthems were played. But at some point, Kadaga sat down in protest, something she later explained.
I just wanted to remind you that when you sing the Uganda national anthem and you sing one stanza, you cannot sing 2 stanzas of any other anthem. So if you want to sing 3, you do 3 of Uganda and then 3 of the others.
Such are some of the do's and don'ts of the Uganda national anthem.
So the Uganda national anthem should be the guiding light of the number of stanzas that should be sung either for the East African community or for our traditional anthems.
It has seen Ugandans pride in it as a prayer for the country and an identity for the nation, even at international level.
I remember when, is it called what? Cheptegei was getting the gold medal. Me, I could even feel goosebumps like, Uganda, you know? And they did the anthem, and it echoed those important words. Our fertile land, you know, our sunshine, the togetherness of the nation, the neighbors that we care for.
George William Kakoma, the brain and the original voice behind the song, may be long gone, but not forgotten. The mark he put on Uganda's independence history remains permanent at 60 years of Uganda as a sovereign nation. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Now I do know pretty well know the order of the Uganda national anthem. I do a pretty good job at that. Thank you, Henry Okurut, for that insight on that story. Now moving on, Uganda has over the years relied on foreign funds to bankroll its fiscal year budget. Now this in turn led to a debt surge and thus impacting negatively on government's social and economic growth agenda. Now with a contribution of about 50% to the budget annually, Uganda Revenue Authority foresees a time when the country will attain true economic sovereignty. We have the details.
Uganda has registered tremendous growth since its independence in 1962, and this is due to government's deliberate efforts to embrace reform. At the heart of this social and economic transformation is the Uganda Revenue Authority. Economic indicators demonstrate that the economy has expanded nearly 10 times to Uganda shillings 148 trillion in the 2020-2021 fiscal year from 14 trillion shillings in 1986.
We will work towards expanding the tax base. So that is one area of focus. Number two is the human resource area of focus. As Uganda Revenue Authority, we are committing ourselves to doing a better job than what we have been doing.
We are becoming self-sufficient. We are seeing so many factories coming up. I visit Kapeka Industrial Park. I visit Mbale Industrial Park. You have been to Namamve. You have seen what is happening in Namamve. Yes, it used to be a forest. It used to be a bush. No, at least we have seen it. You go there. We are struggling even where to pass. Traffic jam, trucks coming in. There is a lot of growth. Those are factories.
The revenue body attributes enhanced revenue collection to improved tax policies and administrative measures, among other factors.
You are encouraging local production. You are encouraging manufacturing factories to come and establish here. You are encouraging foreign direct investment. So in the process, we'll get where to tax. We'll get who will pay the tax. But every time you go to China and you bring that container, you do this, you come, you know you're donating money. That's in the long term. I am not saying we have built capacity where you want it.
Currently, URA contributes 50% to the annual national budget. Sourcing for budget funds from within is a step forward in proclaiming a full economic sovereignty.
We must efficiently collect more revenues from within the country, and we must mobilize more stakeholders to join us in this effort so that together we can rise up to that challenge.
For me, I'm happy with Uganda's progress, especially
there's no area
from 1986 when we've been having peace and security. For me, I still think peace and security is very important. You have seen countries which are not at peace, how they are performing. You have seen Uganda before we got peace, how we were performing. Now that we have peace and security, we need to leverage on that. Leverage on that so that we attract as many people to do investment.
Top on the agenda of the revenue body is to increase the taxpayers register from the current 2.8 million to 5 million by the end of the financial year 2024-2025. It necessitates bringing on board unregistered traders and undeclared employees to start contributing to the national coffers. Dennis Igor and Marit Naber for UBC News.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone, the most affordable smartphone in Uganda. You get to enjoy free 1 GB for the next 11 months. My Airtel 4G smartphone, your best value for money. Visit the nearest Airtel outlet today and get one at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's back! After 2 years away, the Uganda International Trade Fair is back. The Uganda Manufacturers Association excitedly invites you to the 28th Uganda International Trade Fair from October 3rd to October 10th. Visit more than 1,000 manufacturers, traders, distributors, and business people from all sectors at the UMA Showgrounds in Lugogo. We are back to innovation, products, and world-class manufacturing excellence. Entrance fee is 10,000 shillings only. Select manufacturers will offer discounted prices of up to 50%. Enjoy live performances from your favorite artists as we celebrate 60 years of Uganda's independence. To book space, call 0703 552 444.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet and only you, the owner, have access to it.
Just dial *185 *10 hash and now you are on. No waiting. Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
And now into business. The Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa has approved a $20 million funding line to Uganda Development Bank aimed at supporting private sector in Uganda. The two organizations have signed agreement to augment the commitment witnessed by His Excellency Dr. Fahad Al-Dosari, the Chairman Board of Directors Badia, and Mrs. Patricia Ojangole, the Managing Director UDB.
Dollar trade finance line of credit to be used exclusively to finance eligible import transactions from Arab countries, and the other $10 million to finance private sector projects for the benefit of sub-borrowers within Uganda.
We shall also sign an agreement for an unconditional grant of $500,000 for economic empowerment of rural household in Kalungo district, to be implemented by Hikma Community Development Initiative. The grant will finance the construction and a demonstration of farm, and also provide all necessary inputs to selected households in the district.
Currently, Uganda's private sector suffers high costs of capital, and this has hampered the sector's potential to grow at expected rates.
This line will go a long way in bridging the financing gap for financing key economic sectors, and thus it should have the ability to increase the productive capacity of those sectors. It will particularly help SMEs in the private sector to access credit at affordable rates, and thereby also helping to address one of the critical challenges that the private sector in Uganda currently faces.
This is the bank specifically focused on development finance, and this is the money we need. Development finance comes at a cheaper cost. Like UDB line of credit which they have got, I'm sure they will lend it out to our people at cheaper interest rate of not more than 12%.
UDB's relationship with Badea dates back to 1985, when the bank acquired its first line of credit to support the private sector of Uganda. Badea has previously extended UDB 4 lines of credit that have fully been utilized. Wadulo Makanold, UBC News in Kampala.
Uganda Association of Professional Engineers has urged the construction engineers to resist from dealing with proprietors who do not adhere to professional advice. According to the Uganda Association of Professional Engineers, non-adherence to professional advice by developers is one of the leading causes that leads to collapse of buildings.
Cases of collapsing buildings are common disasters that have, in most cases, led to loss of lives. Investigations into such cases by the Uganda Association of Professional Engineers point at non-adherence to professional advice by developers.
But most cases, we have found situations where the engineers give professional advice and the developers ignore it. And we have encouraged our members, if a developer cannot respect professional advice, please leave that site. And leaving the site shouldn't be by mere walking away. Also write and inform the local building committee, inform the National Building Review Board that you are no longer responsible for that site. Because if your name remains on that site, whether in the records or on the signboard, and a problem happens, the developer will always try to continue using some improvised advice. Then you whose name appears, you are liable. And the professional code of ethics will be applied. You can also be sanctioned by the regulator of the building industry. So as professionals, we must maintain our integrity.
Uganda Association of Professional Engineers, with support from the European Union, started the graduate training program where fresh engineers are attached to institutions to gain practical skills and knowledge.
So initially we targeted 200, but we were only able to get placements for 102. Of these, 78 are graduates qualifying from university. 24 are technicians qualifying from technical colleges. And how we select them is that we put out a call through the newspaper. They apply, and we go through a screening process using a criteria. The criteria, normally we want those ones who are not yet employed, because we want to give them skills which will make them employable.
Some of the young professionals who have benefited from the graduate training program commended the initiative for shaping their skills.
I got to know about this graduate training program through social media, and I applied, and then I was called. And we've been training for 12 months now, and today is it's like a graduation day. Marking the end of the program. Personally, I was posted to Prisma Constructions, that is the company I've been training with, and after the training they have also offered to retain me. Yes, so I have got employment through UIPE.
The Uganda Association of Professional Engineers brings together the engineering fraternity to share ideas and promote the engineering profession. Adia Nakute, UBC.
Enable you maneuver through the...
And with that, we come to the end of our first edition of UBC News Tonight. We're still preparing for you more stories, which you'll be receiving in the 10 o'clock bulletin. We'll see you at 10.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well,
We have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
Tonfera, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask